Every day, more than 3.5 million Americans get behind the wheel of a truck. They don't make the news. They don't go viral. But they deliver 92% of everything you touch. Food, fuel, furniture, medicine, even this script on your screen. America runs on 18 wheels, but few ever stop to think about the lives behind those wheels. Meet Trevor, a 54-year-old long-haul trucker who's spent over 3 decades living on the road. His world isn't defined by cities or calendars. It's defined by rest stops, roadside diners, rig repairs, and engine hours. He is part of an invisible backbone of the U.S. economy, one that moves $11 trillion worth of freight annually. Yet despite the essential nature of the job, truckers like Trevor face enormous hurdles. Over 70-plus hours of work per week, median income of $53,000 per year before fuel, maintenance, tolls, and taxes. In 2025, diesel costs hit $5.29 per gallon in some states. Over 60% of independent owner-operators are currently in debt. But beyond the economics, there's a hidden crisis on America's roads. 26% of truckers report severe loneliness. Opioid misuse is 2.5 times higher than in the general population. Divorce rates among truckers exceed 70%. In this documentary journey, Diesel Dreams, we follow Trevor across 5 states, exploring what life on the road truly means. The economics, the exhaustion, the humanity, and the hope. It's 4:30 a.m. in Omaha, Nebraska. The sky is black, the air chilled. Trevor unscrews his thermos of coffee and climbs into the cab of his rig. It's not glamorous. It's life. His destination? Jacksonville, Florida, over 1,400 miles away. The route will take him through Iowa, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. He'll only stop to refuel, shower, and nap in a roadside lot. This is what the average 300 nights away from home per year looks like. For Trevor, that means missing birthdays, anniversaries, and once, his daughter's high school graduation. Each mile he drives earns him roughly 45 cents to 55 cents, depending on the load. But with fuel over $5 per gallon in some states and maintenance costs rising, that number dwindles fast. He's not alone. At truck stops, he meets others who live the same life: ex-military, newly divorced, recent immigrants, and former factory workers. Each with a different past but the same future. Miles to go, bills to pay. People think we just drive, Trevor says, but every mile comes with a cost. Not just money, but time, health, and sanity. He checks his mirrors, turns the ignition, and pulls into the dark. In northern Mississippi, Trevor pulls over at a small time-worn diner called Mama Lou's. The neon sign buzzes weakly. Inside, the waitress already knows his name, and that he likes his eggs scrambled with hot sauce. Places like Mama Lou's are sanctuaries for truckers. Coffee is bottomless, portions are huge, and the conversation reminds you that you're still human. But as he finishes his breakfast, Trevor's phone vibrates. A warning light just popped up. Alternator failure. He limps the truck to a nearby repair shop, paying $1,200 for the fix and waiting 4 hours in a greasy waiting room. No compensation, no company support, just a receipt and an invoice. That's the reality for independent owner-operators like Trevor, who make up the vast majority of drivers in America. With over 90% of trucking companies operating fewer than 6 trucks, many are on their own. There's no paid sick leave, no HR department. Trevor uses the time to call his daughter. She's in college now. They talk about her classes. It's short, awkward, but it helps. These little moments, that's what keeps you sane, he says. The rig hums again. Trevor's back on the road. By the time he crosses the Alabama border, Trevor has logged 900 miles. The cities come and go. Memphis, Birmingham, Montgomery. But they blur into each other. What stays are the people. At a rest stop, he meets Hank, a 67-year-old veteran who's retiring next month. "You ever regret it?" Trevor asks. Hank shrugs. "Only when I get up too fast." The toll on the body is real. Back pain and spinal degeneration, sleep apnea due to sedentary lifestyle and poor diet, heart issues from stress and processed food. Trevor's diet is gas station burritos and truck stop burgers. Sleep is sporadic. Healthcare? Expensive and inconsistent. Still, there's a rhythm to the road. He listens to classic rock, tunes into late-night radio, and enjoys the isolation. He helps a younger driver back into a tight parking spot. "There's a code," Trevor says. "We help each other. No one else will." Even in a profession that feels forgotten, there's camaraderie. Trevor finally reaches Jacksonville. The delivery is smooth, no drama, but there's no celebration either. He checks into a motel, $75 per night, flickering light bulbs, and a half-working heater. He gets 4 hours of rest before dispatch calls. Another route, another city. Federal law limits truckers to 11 hours of driving per day, but with pressure to deliver fast, many drivers fudge logbooks or rely on stimulants just to stay awake. In fact, a recent study shows 25% plus of truckers admit to using stimulants. 14% have fallen asleep behind the wheel at least once. While eating cold pizza, Trevor flips on the TV. A news story. A driver fell asleep and jackknifed on I-95. "Could have been me," he mutters. He stretches. The bed creaks. Another state awaits. "Sometimes you forget what your own bed feels like," he says, "but you remember the weight of the wheel." His final stretch takes him through South Carolina and into rural North Carolina. Familiar trees, familiar diners. At a gas station, he chats with June, a waitress who once gave him a free slice of pecan pie. She asks where he's coming from. "Everywhere," he replies. He shares stories from the week. The breakdown, the new driver he helped, the daughter he called. At home, a dog barks as his rig approaches. His wife left years ago, but his old dog still wags his tail like he's been gone a day. He sleeps in his own bed. But in the morning, the alarm rings again, back to the road. The next morning, Trevor is back in the cab. Another sunrise, another map, another deadline. But questions linger. Will AI trucks replace drivers like him? Can the industry survive without radical reform? What happens when the road gives more pain than purpose? What keeps Trevor going? He says, "Somewhere out there, someone's waiting on that delivery. A mom, a farmer, a nurse. You keep going because they're counting on you." He turns the key. Diesel roars. Another dream begins. Have you ever met someone like Trevor? Have you ever depended on a delivery that arrived overnight? Drop a comment. Share your thoughts. And next time you see a semi on the highway, remember, there's a person in there, and they're keeping America moving.